In our last monthly marriage moment,
We talked about strategies for resolving conflict in a healthy and productive way. And there was a couple that had a question about how you come back. How do you literally come back when you're trying to resolve conflict?
Okay, so first of all, I love how professional this is. This is how they do it on the TVs. You hear the voice. Okay, you don't care about that. I love that. Okay, I want you to answer first, and then I want to tell you something that you do often that you may not realize it. So, how do you say we actually come back? We talked about the fact that with conflict, there's some maturity that has to go on, that we take a deep breath, that one of us will say, let's bring this back later.
Yeah.
But how do we actually come back?
Well, and that's an important part of it. I think the important part is we lower our emotions, right? And that's what the stepping away is. Now, while we've stepped away, it's important to consider our role in it. So what I do, I start off by, I don't care how much in the right I think I was, I start off by saying, all right, what's my role in it? Like, is my position off? Was my temperament off? Did I say something crazy? Even if I'm right, any of those things
Yes.
can offset that, and then I try and come back and approach that. So if I can have a nugget to say, babe, I may still believe like I believe, but I shouldn't have said it this way.
Yeah.
Or I've thought about my position, and maybe I can see how you're thinking or something like that.
Okay, so I want to be real about the fact.
So I'm not real? That's what she's saying?
See,
She
I
said
was about to give
she
you a
said I'm not
compliment.
real.
I was
I'm
about to
just
give you a
messing- I'm
compliment.
messing
Do you
with
want your compliment?
Go ahead, give my compliment.
Okay.
I'm fishing now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, so when it comes to this kind of thing, you do this much better than I do. Because once I am triggered and once I've decided I have an issue with needing to be right, I call myself prove a point Patty. You don't get to call me that. But one of the things that you do often is that you will send a text message to me acknowledging something in it. Like you said, even if it's just I don't think my tone was right, or I can understand your perspective. You do something to acknowledge your point in it.
And the text is because I'm not ready to have that conversation yet. So I don't want to keep going. And I may still feel some kind of way, but at least I'm starting it off to give
Yeah.
me some more time.
To deal with what you're feeling.
What I'm feeling.
And so that's a practical thing. Like he will send a text message. Now, one of the strategies when I am acting mature, one of the things that it's two things I keep in mind. And this is real life. I often think long term about our marriage. And I really try to say, is this an issue that really has a long term effect? Because I really understand it's the little foxes that destroy the vine. And if I make all the things a big thing, we're going to constantly be at each other's neck. And honestly, one of the values of our marriage or the culture of our marriage is we don't want to always be mad, right? And so I try to think about that. And here's the second thing I constantly try to think. Now, this is a thought that some people struggle with, but all conflict is not going to be resolved. If resolution means we have to agree.
Yeah.
Let me say it again. If resolution means we have to agree, then all conflict is not going to be resolved because it really may be an issue that we just can't agree on. And so we try to decide which one of our perspectives can we at least lean with. So I know that might seem pie in the sky, but that's really what we do. Either he'll send me a text acknowledging something, and at that point I look ridiculous not listening to him or not going ahead and having the conversation. And then for my part, I try to think long term. Now let me say this, and I want you to add to it. We have to take into account that I am a marriage therapist, which means I'm in the trenches with couples all the time. So I have the advantage of knowing that you can let little things fester and fester and fester, and it really will destroy your marriage. So I am looking at our marriage through that lens.
Yeah. And I'm glad to hear on tape that there's some things that won't be resolved, because I'm going to replay this tape. Because that's hard. That's a hard one, because trying to determine, what's truly not going to have and just
Yes.
keep trying to push.
Wait, you're doing that because what?
What? Because you
'Cause
push? Yeah, So we're going to replay this tape. But I'm glad to know at least you think it theoretically.
Yes.
Because it's hard.
Yes.
It's hard. I'm not making light of it. It's just a hard thing. And I think couples come up against that. It's like, so on one hand, you don't want to act like you're punking out and just don't want to deal with stuff. But on the other hand, you don't want to keep like hitting yourself up against the wall. Now you're damaging each other. Everybody's hurt now.
Yeah.
And it's just sometimes some things it's just like we're just not going to agree. As long as it's not hurtful or harmful
Yeah.
to the marriage or to one another, it's okay to land at that place.
Yeah, and I guess, so where it could become dangerous though, and we're not wanting to suggest this, that you can begin to just keep sweeping things under the rug. And you keep sweeping things under the rug, eventually that rug becomes a mountain. So we're not suggesting that, but we really are just saying, pick your battles. Like certain things just shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? And then because we don't want to make light. Because a lot of times our conflict, when our daughters hear us argue, they're like, y'all act like y'all are in high school. Because a lot of times our arguments will be silly things. But we don't want to take light of real disagreements that are causing real pain that you all can't get on one accord. That's when you're going to have to seek help. That's when you're going to have to seek support. I want it to be a therapist who is clinical, who can help you navigate it from a principle-based approach, not preference. But it can also be other couples. That's why at TFC we say this is the place where marriage matters. Because it could be other couples that you sit down with who you trust, who's going to give good wisdom. Because sometimes you may just need a different perspective.
And I'll end on this. I think if we go into the situation and not just go into it, but keep this thought that I just might be wrong.
Yeah, you said that last
You
time,
know,
and that's true.
Yeah, I just might be wrong. And as much as I believe like I'm right, I might be wrong. And that's why seeking some help could help to navigate that. And even, it may not be professional help, but it may be having a group around you.
Yes, absolutely.
That you trust, their wisdom, their spiritual wisdom, but also their relationship wisdom as well, to seek counsel together. So.
Yeah, and I know you said I'll end on this, but let's really emphasize that point. Because if you can get around some like-minded couples who have been in the trenches, they will tell you, the ladies can pull you to the side and say, sis. The fellas can pull the husband to the side. That's why you don't want to do marriage alone.
And don't go fishing for somebody who you think gonna have your position. All right, so you know your homeboy who think just like you, who's gonna just reinforce what you've been saying. Or sisters, don't just be like, sisters, don't just go there and be like, yeah, she gonna have my back. So it shouldn't be male and male versus the females. You know,
Exactly.
Let's just seek spiritual wise counsel to kind of help navigate that. I know a lot of times you're like, I don't want nobody in my business, but again, if it's a safe space, then it's a space that you can feel comfortable in sharing and knowing you're not gonna be judged.
So that is how, I know we said a lot, but this is a very intertwined conversation, and so I hope that helps. And if it did help you, share this video on your timeline. We are serious about marriage here at TFC, and we want to really create an environment where couples can grow stronger in their marriage. So if this helped you, like the video, because I do this on my page. Like the video, comment, share it, so that we can continue to impact couples
Because
together.
TFC is a place where marriage
Marriage matters.